Dumb Money. This may very well be my favorite film of 2023. Dumb Money is a biographical comedy drama based on the true story of a group of people who connected on the Reddit page Wall Street Bets and banded together to put the squeeze on multiple hedge funds that had bet GameStop shares would tank. This movie had everything you would want in a film. It was hilarious, it had heart, there was a compelling underdog story, and there was characters that we were really rooting for and cared about. So often in a drama or comedy, they feel like they fit into that specific genre, but within this, because it was real life, it was a historical event that happened, this feels so much more genuine and authentic. The characters feel more real and the family dynamics feel more authentic to how 2020 families actually behave. We struggle, we can be crass, we bust balls, but we also grieve and we have hopes and dreams for ourselves and our families. Because the film takes place during the pandemic in 2020 and 2021, it does a really good job of grounding everything in a reality that feels distant but reminded me of how different and stifled the culture was at the time. A simple conversation at a gas station with people seeing each other's faces without them being covered by a mask really showed a reflection of that time period. Even them doing the congressional hearings via Zoom, I had to remind myself, oh yeah, they wouldn't have done that in person at the time. The film is very self-aware, and its use of internet culture, which was a huge part of the actual story, made the overall movie feel really authentic. So what was great about much of the comedy is that the film didn't treat itself like it was a comedy. It would often just make jokes and then kind of move on. It was quick, witty, and Paul Dano plays Keith Gill to perfection. From the hilarious kitty shirts and the red headband to the red streaming microphone, they nailed the roaring kitty aesthetic. Paul Dano is quietly becoming one of the best working actors in Hollywood today. He's been featured in roles recently playing the Riddler in The Batman, and he even played Steven Spielberg himself in The Fabelmans. I also love him in things like The Daniel's Swiss Army Man, where he plays alongside Daniel Radcliffe, who plays a farting corpse who uses his boners to find the direction of where they need to go. Pretty wild stuff. And he was amazing in Denis Villeneuve's 2013 film Prisoners. He often plays more enigmatic characters, and I appreciated that he just got to be silly in this one. Veterans like Seth Rogen and Nick Offerman step aside in this film to let the other talent really shine. They play more of the straight man character and aren't actually trying to be funny in the film. All the performances in this movie are great, but I found America Ferrera to be a real standout. I just felt like she actually was a single mom who was just trying to take care of her kids and do the best by them. I wanted so badly for her to hold the line, make that money, and get her kid those braces. I thought Pete Davidson might be a bit obnoxious, but he actually was quite funny playing the loser brother alongside the genius investor. And this may be the very first time I've seen Seth Rogen not do the pothead laugh that he's known for. You know, the Pumbaa laugh. I really appreciated how they humanized our main cast of low-income investors. A nurse, a GameStop employee, students with college debt. These are all people that we want to see succeed. One of the biggest strengths in this film is that it takes complicated topics such as stocks, shorts, squeezes, hedge funds, IPOs, and it really simplifies them so they're easy to understand and digest, and they don't get in the way of people enjoying or understanding the film. The film makes a very clear distinction between the wealth disparity of the billionaire class and those who are in debt or have less than $100,000 to their name. The movie shows, just as it does in the trailer, the net worth of the billionaires and the net worth of those who have lower income. The rich are presented as elite assholes who have more money than they know what to do with, while many of the characters with lower income are presented as kind, well-meaning, and relatable people. The movie definitely has a David versus Goliath vibe, and one of the themes that's present in the movie is when we stand alone, we are defeated, and when we stand together in unity, we are much stronger and can take on giants. Dumb Money doesn't try to play out like a documentary of the GameStop short squeeze or the nefarious acts of the Robin Hood CEO. It's a story about fairness, unity, loyalty, and perseverance. Dumb Money finds its heart in its characters and the many hardships they've faced in their lives. There's a brilliant scene with Dano's character Keith Gill and his family as they mourn the loss of someone that passed during the pandemic. They seamlessly transition from a silly car ride to somber, heartfelt emotion and grief. That's part of what makes this movie so good. Even with those subtle tonal shifts, you're there for the ride. Dumb Money clocks in at an hour and 44 minutes, and it is perfectly paced. I never felt like the movie was rushing, had overlong exposition dumps, or overstayed its welcome. One of the best things about this movie is its originality. Yes, we've seen things similar to this before with movies like The Big Short, but the story here is so wildly original and sounds entirely made up. That's what's so fun about this movie, is that many of the broad strokes actually happened. I'm sure the writers took liberties with the story, but many of the components, from the Reddit community to the congressional hearings and the character of Keith Gill, aka Roaring Kitty, were all based on things that actually did happen. Dumb Money is a hilarious comedy drama that will satisfy anyone who likes an underdog story and a movie with real stakes and true heart. It definitely earns its R rating and likely wouldn't interest anyone under the age of 17 anyway. The comedy itself isn't overly raunchy, it's just culturally relevant and points out some of the wild shit that people say on the internet. If you like biographical films, I think you'll love this one. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. Dumb Money has laughs, heart, unity, and an overall solid story about believing in yourself and taking on overwhelming odds. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, what the fuck are you doing with your life?